IVM.
Is that the best song on the thing is not by Magik.
ये तुम्हारी मेरी बात है.
No, Zehreelay is the best song on the album. Zehreelay is the best song on the album.
Now you're just being contrary for the sake
I'm not
of
being contrary, bro. It's a song just to enjoy itself. It has no meaning. It has no because Rock On for a rock band has so many songs about love. And I'm like, who's singing this much, bro? Zehreelay was just purely like, I like snakes. I'm going to sing about snakes. Snakes are the shit.
अब्बास और उर्जिता का पॉडकास्ट का नाम है As It Age Well, सुन लो. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is why I never became a rock star. Welcome.
Sure, that's why Abbas.
ये गाना फरहान अख्तर को इमिटेट करने के चक्कर में आपने आपका आवाज इतना कम क्यों कर दिया?
मेरी आवाज लोगों तक पहुंचे, यही मेरा ख्वाब है. That's what Magik stands for, and that's what Has It Age Well stands for.
Now you're talking. Yes.
Welcome to Has It Age Well, presented by Wildstone Perfumes. Check out their range of badass fragrances that's out right now. With me in the studio is my co-host Urjita.
Hello.
And in case you didn't figure out, that quote, that song was from the 2008 super hit film called Rock On. And to talk about Rock On with us in the studio, we couldn't find a rock star. Unfortunately, we searched far and wide. So we settled for another comedian.
Way to invite your guest. What we could not
What a
have.
warm podcast.
We settled
here.
for
I'm
this
not
guest.
done, guys. But he's a rock star in his own way in comedy.
This is what people say about people who are not rock stars.
He's a rock star in his own house.
And in this studio as well, please welcome comedian, writer, overall cool guy, Mr. Mikhail Almeida.
Hello. Thank you. Can I
Mikhail-
pause here? Which
Sure.
camera am I supposed to look into?
That one.
Just that one.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm going to keep this.
Yeah, okay, fine.
Professional comedian does not know which camera to look into. That's okay.
Not with the 3-cam setup.
Yeah.
Oh. See, we here only believe in the highest production qualities. So, just like Magik did back in Rock On. I don't know where I'm going with this. Welcome to the show,
I believe you,
Mikhail.
Abbas. I believe you. We have not faced half an hour of production delays.
Why are you so intimidated by him?
I'm not.
You
I'm
sound
more-
very...
Mikhail scares me, man.
Fucking
He's
Abbas.
Either you're intimidated or you're just very attractive.
I want to impress Mikhail.
You want to...
Yeah,
that
that's why,
that
yeah,
sounds...
that's
that sounds like...
I can believe that actually.
Mikhail, welcome to the show.
Thank
We're discussing Rock On from 2008.
Yes.
A movie that we both mutually sort of agreed to discuss.
Yeah,
And-
Urjita surprisingly did not have a vote, which I was like, shouldn't she be here? But
Yeah.
No, Urjita's smooth with that way. Like whatever film you put forth, she's up for discussing it. So,
fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Unless it's a very bad film.
yeah.
It's a good
Yeah.
quality to have in a podcast film host.
I know. Yeah.
Film podcast host, sorry.
Yeah. Same thing.
No. Podcast film is...
Rock star rock. Actually, yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
It's different. But Mikhail, you're closer to my age in numbers.
I think I'm exactly in the middle, no?
Kind of. Yeah. Actually, you're exactly in the middle
You're
between me and
96 born.
Urjita.
I'm 98.
98. And you're?
I'm 88.
Okay, I'm closer to you. I'm
Yeah.
like... I'm 92.
Okay. So you were 26 when this film came out?
No, you horrible
were 16.
maths person. You former medical student. I was 16.
Let me take that again.
You were not even 26. How was
I
I
was
26?
also not 20. I was 20
Abbas was
when the
always
film came
30.
out.
That's what I...
Wow. Okay.
The moment yeah.
When you say always, it implies he's still 30 and he's clearly not 30.
Oh, yeah.
What do you guys think? Put it in the comments. But I was
Start
20.
from 40.
I was 20 when the Rock On came out. You
The
were a
Rock
couple
On.
of years
Yeah, I was
younger.
16.
And so I'll tell you why I was in life, and then I'd like to know where you guys were in life. I was 20. I was studying dentistry, hating it, and the streak of rebellion was in me. And the music of the rebels is rock music. I was a big-time rock fan, and I loved this movie when it came out. I watched it thrice in the theaters, and there's a funny
Wait, was this normal for you that you watch movies
no,
multiple
no.
times?
So that's why, because rock, like the first ever Indian film addressing rock music
That's true.
head on
Yeah.
with good music. Like it's not like we'd had, it was not Papa Kehte Hain with Amir Khan just
Yeah.
strumming a guitar, but it's making no sound.
Okay.
The music genuinely was rock music. It was a rage before the movie came out. I saw it thrice. I loved it.
I have a thing to say about the music, but we'll get to that.
Okay, we'll get to that. So for me, I was like, man, in hindsight, now when I watched it yesterday, it seemed like one of those weird things where it's also the most genuine and the most ridiculous film about rock music in India. And I think it was kind of ahead of its time because in 2008 we couldn't believe that there would be a rock band in India singing in Hindi.
I disagree that it was ahead of its time. It was in fact 2 years or a year late. It releases 1 year later or 2 years later, and it's not a movie. That idea does not get greenlit in Bollywood 2 years later.
Why
In
do you
2010.
In 2010-11, this movie cannot release.
Why?
Okay.
Why?
Because when I was watching the movie, I realized that this is that multiplex movie, no?
Correct.
This
Yes.
is a movie for a small audience
Yeah.
that pays a lot for tickets in 5, 6, 7 cities of the country.
Agreed. Yeah.
And like no one in
Uttar
Kanpur
Pradesh.
cares about.
Lucknow actually
I
there
said
might be.
Uttar Pradesh.
Yeah, okay. Some small
Yeah.
industrial town in the
Yeah.
heartland of India does not care.
Jamshedpur.
Yeah. So this idea does not get greenlit later, and I'm like, because 2009, like from 2000, from around the time Kuch Kuch Hota Hai, Dil Chahta Hai came out,
Yeah.
until 2009, there was that multiplex movie.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even your
which
big,
Farhan Akhtar kind of championed.
even your big budget movies were all multiplex movies. Like Om Shanti Om is a very multiplex movie.
Agreed.
It has elements of everything, but it can also be called a multiplex
Sure.
movie.
Okay.
After the post 2009, once Wanted blew up,
Yeah.
everyone was like, okay, so this is a big money spinner. Okay, pay attention to this, pay attention to Ghajini. And once Dabang came out, there was just no.
There was no
looking
looking
Right.
back. After
back,
that,
yeah.
there was just no
turning back.
turning back.
Yeah.
That
Correct.
became the standard for the next decade. And then there was no like, oh, let's find this niche community, make a movie for these small group of people.
Yeah, let's
That-
make a movie about magicians.
Yeah, that was over. So 2008 was the last time this could get made.
That's true.
And even like rock music also died somewhere in the middle of the 2000s, somewhere around 2007-8. Rock music in India died because I remember in the 2000s, channel used to have that thing where
Launchpad, which
is a reference
movie.
in the movie. And I remember watching that show. I remember following bands. I was like, oh, these are not bad bands. These are actually good bands.
Yeah.
But then after that, you never heard of rock music. You never heard of a rock band.
Yeah.
What I meant ahead of its time, I said maybe rock music as a genre died, but independent music, like today in India in 2023, like youngsters actually know indie musicians almost as much as Bollywood music.
Not as
right?
I feel like in the
Okay, maybe it will be less, but
Metro
it's
cities
definitely
mein they do.
in
it's
the early
definitely more than 2008.
It depends on how you
2008
categorize-
is pre-Spotify,
Correct.
streaming and all of that.
But that was a lot. Like it depends on how you categorize indie musicians.
Okay.
If today's indie musicians are extremely indie,
Okay, let me throw a name at you. Local Train, the band.
huh?
You know about them?
I don't know indie musicians
I
today.
do. I love
I don't know
Local
indie
Train.
musicians
It's a
today. in India.
Hindi rock music band.
Khada
You want me to name one?
आज भी
Suddenly,
वही
don't just.
कि फिर
No,
भी-
I'm aware of
Have
the
you
band.
heard this
You
song?
might
That's
have
not-
heard
I'm
this
aware
song,
of the
yeah.
band. I've not heard their songs.
Okay, so that's what I'm. But it a band like Local Train singing rock music in Hindi is more viable to get success today than they would have been in 2008.
That is only Hindi, but I feel like
But
Pentagram.
that's what I'm saying. Rock On Mein Magik is, which is a name we will come to. I don't know why
Yeah.
they decided on that. But them singing in Hindi was like, there's no band in India which will sing rock music in Hindi and get big.
No,
But
Launchpad had a few.
That was very niche. Though.
Exactly.
It was very neat, but the whole rock
saying-
music
Yellow
I'm saying-
Diaries,
like
Local
because you
Train.
mentioned Kanpur, I'm saying like a youngster in Kanpur listening to Local Train, the chances of him listening to Local Train are way higher than him
Yes.
watching Rock On back then.
I agree.
I don't know how to make that comparison. But
But you started with that comparison.
No, my point was like in the according to me, the peak of indie music in India was the 90s.
What?
You
How?
usually became
Okay, you're talking
like that's what I'm saying.
quality-wise or reach-wise?
No, it depends on how you categorize an indie musician.
Okay.
Like to me, indie pop was indie musicians.
Alicia Chennai.
Alicia Chennai, whoever came from
I was
through that
in
route,
Lucky Ali.
Lucky Ali through that
जिनके
route.
अलग से एल्बम है जो बॉलीवुड में नहीं है. You
Yeah,
see.
and then they came to Bollywood. They were all indie musicians to begin with.
Okay. So wouldn't you agree Rock On in 2008, the movie, was emblematic of that vibe, the indie vibe.
You're saying कोई मूवी
No,
पैसा
no,
ना
it-
But
कमाए.
packaged as a Hindi masala.
It was that was one of my complaints with the movie, that it is come from an indie idea. It's come from a rebellious idea,
Sure.
but it's packaged very Bollywood,
Hindi cinema,
very
Bollywood.
Hindi mainstream Bollywood.
There I
so
agree
like,
with you.
Yeah.
so like,
It's riddled with cliches.
It's riddled with cliches.
Riddled
It's
with cliches, but
even-
also
even,
it
like,
doesn't feel very like off.
the 2008 financial crisis happened globally, but it wasn't really felt in India.
Yeah.
Like the government did a lot to like protect us and all,
Correct.
and that's why they got re-elected in 2009.
Yeah.
And we started feeling that effects only later in 2012, 13, when like, oh, policy paralysis, all this shit happened. And then there was a major change and correction to be like, okay, now you can't take an artistic risk. Now you
Correct.
make that big movie
Yeah.
that caters to everyone, that you don't need to watch through the context of this day and age. You can watch this anytime and it'll be a great movie. With a big star and like a big canvas, like we'll compromise on some ideals and all that. And that changed also. So like Rock On was very, and like, I don't know if you noticed this in the film, but like XL Entertainment has essentially made one film over and over again.
Which is Dil Chahta.
Which is Dil Chahta Hai, which is it's a friend group. There are 3 friends. One is charismatic, who's the main guy. One is a talented person who doesn't believe in himself and is very sensitive. And the other is a goofball who just loves women like a dumbass.
But there are 4 in this.
No, but I'll get to why the fourth one is.
personality.
The fourth one is
It's
there
a blank
just.
slate.
The fourth one is there for the most part just to die at the end of the movie. He's not like yeah, he's a genius of the band and all that, but like if you see like, okay, Dil Chahta Hai, Rock On, Zindagi Na Milegi Dobara. They are all made by different directors, but the same production house, and they all have the same, like Amir Khan became Farhan Akhtar, became Hrithik Roshan.
Same.
Akshay Khanna became Arjun Rampal, became Farhan Akhtar in
Right. Same sort of the brains where all
the
of them come
same
from.
clash. It's always the talented, sensitive guy who clashes
I'm
with
saying
the charismatic
Farhan,
main guy.
Zoya, Ritesh Sidhwani. These 3 are the
Yeah,
all
they are
these
they are
films.
the guiding light creatively of
Yeah,
that
yeah,
production
yeah.
house, right? And like Farhan Akhtar was going to make the 3-girl movie, which has not been made yet, but I can predict it'll essentially be the same. I just can't cast who is who.
It's not the same in Dawn though.
Because Dawn was a
Is it
remake and it was a
different?
completely different. Even Laksh was not the same, but I'm making like, because when you watch this movie,
Laksh, I mean, but you could see Laksh is essentially the Amir Khan character from Dil Chahta Hai, but magnified more. A guy who doesn't know where his life is going, so
Perhaps.
he decides to join the.
I don't know, because Laksh was a single character you had to focus on.
yeah.
I didn't see it as in comparison, but
But
Rock
I
On.
also see where this is coming from, because like see, if you have like if you make a 2-friend movie where there are 2 friends, so then उसमें मतलब conflict भी दोनों कर रहे हैं, and then फिर वो प्यार भी वो दोनों कर रहे हैं एक दूसरे से, and then everything is happening between the 2 of them. So that is very similar to the countless other 2-friend movies that Bollywood has made. A 3-friend movie dynamic is very interesting, because then it's like the 3 subconscious minds के aspect, no, id, ego and super ego.
No, but
so then
what I found was interesting was that it's always the same 2 characters fighting in every movie. That dumbass guy who's in love with every girl in every movie is not fighting with anyone. ZNMD is a big movie. Dil Chahta Hai is a big movie. Rock On, I watched it and I forgot about it for 15 years.
Oh, really?
Rock On did not like live in my memory and be like, oh, those characters did this. Rock On faded
Why do you
away.
think that was?
Because I don't know, Rock On 2 didn't do well, and Rock declined, and Farhan Akhtar, all these actors, this is not their main movie in their life.
I was coming to this.
and
So, like-
that makes sense, because दिल चाहता है के scenes हम सबको याद है, ZNMD की भी याद है, Rock On का किसी को कुछ याद
Rock
नहीं है.
On, it lived with me. Like for me, it was very active in my memory.
The songs, yes, but
The songs
not
and
any
even the movie.
dialogues.
No, it was just
there
the
is
songs.
no scenes, no scenes.
It was
that you
just the
remember.
movie, even like some scene. I think so like the art direction and choreography is way better in Rock On than as compared to Dil Chahta Hai. I don't know if you can compare that with ZNMD because it's shot abroad.
Yeah.
But I think the interior shots that are
I found
in
a
Rock
very like.
and I think it has genuinely good concert sequences, which is
Yeah,
rare in.
yeah.
It
It
was
does,
not like
but it does
एक
not
दो तीन
have-
के जैसा Rohini
like
वो नहीं
I'll
बना
tell you what I noticed very like. It was, first of all, the sepia overtone on the movie is just
Sure.
hard to escape.
That's
And-
for the flashbacks, right?
No, the whole movie is in sepia.
Okay.
Like no white is ever white in the movie.
No, I'm not sure about
Yeah,
that.
yeah, the
प्राची
whole-
देसाई गोरी दिख रही है. I remember.
Arey, people can still be fair. In a
I'm saying नहीं, but उसके वाले scenes है.
There seems to be a filterish quality.
because it's
yeah.
like, you know, the sepia filter on a movie in the 2000s was very like, oh, this is a dark, grimy, dirty world. And so this is like, oh, this is rock, you know, like,
Yeah.
it's cool, it's aged, and like, there has to be a vintage look to it.
Right.
Yeah.
But the first thing I noticed was the movie opens on Socha Hai. And what struck me like blatantly about that frame is that this is the most colors I have seen on a rock band on stage at the same time.
Yeah.
There was blue, orange, green, red, and probably one more color. And when you watch the movie, you're like, oh, okay, because it's like, oh, this is the happy part of the movie. So you have
Yeah.
to show color and happiness. And then
Yeah.
later it declines
toned
and then
down.
like
Yeah,
it tones
yeah.
down and
Yeah.
everything.
Yeah.
Which I was like, that's a good thing, good intention. But I was like, it's just a blatant visual to be like, I've never seen so many colors on stage ever in my life. And also
For a rock band.
for a rock band, I've seen colors on, I've seen theatre productions.
Yeah.
But even like now having, when I watched the movie for the first time, I was a student. Today I've done like comedy for a few years. So
Right.
like I have some experience of like, what stage is like, what backstage is like, what live production is like. And what was sticking to me throughout the Pichle 7 Dinon Mein sequence. He jumps into the audience. He does all of that.
Yeah.
He has an SM58 mic, which is what all of us use on stage to speak into, which is always wired. And he is speaking to an SM58 unwired, jumping in, singing from wherever he wants. I was like, all these concerts, all these songs on stage, not one drop of sweat on anyone. No one's sweating. It's just a very well ventilated, cool stage. I was just like, what? How is no one sweating?
Very well ventilated sun. वो तो भी global warming भी नहीं था ना तो शायद.
So Urjita, how did you feel? Had you seen Rock On before?
I had.
Okay.
जब ये आई थी तभी 10 साल की थी मैं तो तभी नहीं देखी थी.
Right.
But then when I, as a teenager, I think 15-16 साल की, my cousin, he had made me watch Rock On. Rock On देखा था मैंने तभी I really enjoyed it. And then I had watched it. उसके बाद अभी लॉकडाउन में मैंने देखा था with my friends. And I really enjoyed it both times. And now I watched for the third time. And I kid you not, all the 3 times मैं कुछ नया चीज़ मैंने डिस्कवर किया है. और अभी मैंने 2 बार देखी है मूवी इसके पहले भी. तो आइडियली आई शुड हैव रिमेंबर्ड द स्टोरी राइट. मुझे कुछ याद नहीं था. आई जस्ट रिमेंबर बैंड होता है, उनका बैंड है, जुड़ जाता है, पहले टूट जाता है, फिर जुड़ जाता है. दैट इज ऑल आई रिमेंबर.
I remember just the large arc because it's a very simple arc.
Same.
They are together, they're happy, they fight, they drift apart, then they come back together, someone dies in the end, and it's happy ending for the rest of them.
But like the details की like ये how does Prachi meet Purab Kohli, वो सब चीजें मैं भूल गई थी. I genuinely didn't remember.
That's because I'll tell you something, like one of the reasons between Dil Chahta Hai and ZNMD why this did not stand up as tall as those other two is that there's no great acting performance in this movie.
I was about to come to that. It's one of those weird things where none of the 4 actors are great by themselves.
Yeah, and everyone outside the 4 is actually...
together, I think they weirdly work.
They work fine. Yeah. But like even outside the 4, like Prachi Desai did a very bad job in this movie, I feel.
Okay.
Really? It was a very mono face, like... The only scene she acted well was when she's standing up in the car and the wind is in her face with that kid. And for the first time, I'm like, oh, you look happy when you're supposed to look happy. Every other time when you're sad, when you're frustrated, you look the same. And it's like, there's no modulation in your voice. I was like, because she's essentially the people's representative in the movie, right? Like, she's like, oh, get back together, stop putting your ego first and all that. So she's supposed to be us. But like, she's not very engaging on screen.
Yeah.
And also that hair is just hard to ignore.
She was coming off of her daily soap. So
this was her debut movie. She was very young. She was, I think, 23 or something.
So there was also that added thing that, in daily soaps you act a certain way. So now you have to do the exact opposite because now you're in
initially, her performance, it did not really bother me. But then now that you say it, I realized if there was a Priyanka Chopra instead of her.
Just some, like that,
she would have been the lead.
That scene where she gets frustrated with Farhan is supposed to be the main thing of the present day part of the movie. But like it just wasn't engaging. Like she didn't look frustrated enough. So I'm like,
I'll tell you what it looked like. The acting looked like it was one of those Channel V kids shows.
Yes,
the teenager shows.
Wow.
It looked the acting. Her acting looked slightly not dramatic enough. Also, her hairstyle did not age well.
Yeah.
I feel like XL Entertainment just got into that where Dil Chahta Hai they came out and B Blunt and the owner of B Blunt I think was married to Farhan at the time.
Yeah, she's in the movie also in the concert scene at the end.
I noticed
dancing with Prachi.
I noticed Rima Kakti. I didn't notice.
Just before Rima Kakti, the woman who's dancing.
Okay, but Dil Chahta Hai got lots of accolades for his hairstyles and all that. And it just went to their head. And then after that, nothing like Laksh had bad hairstyles according to everyone.
True.
I feel Prachi Desai's
I think
hair
worst
in this
hairstyle
movie,
for Preeti Zinta ever in her career.
Probably.
Oh, and Laksh,
Probably.
Yeah. And they replicated the same hairstyle for Anushka Sharma and PK. The exact same thing.
Yeah.
The exact same hairstyle.
But then after that, Rock On did not do well hairstyle wise. ZNMD, I think
was
did
decent.
Well. Yeah,
dude, but I liked Farhan's Magic band wala haircut.
Okay, I had to talk about why do you think they named the band Magik with a K? Because it's not the most rock and roll name.
It's not the most rock.
You think of.
It's a very
Magic biscuits bhi aate the.
Exactly.
I feel like that's the line they were trying to tone. Like it has to be a rock band, but it also has to be Bollywood.
Easy on the tongue.
Yeah, like. Usually like there has to be like multiple syllables to a rock band name to like you have fun saying it, but like Magic is just like
Magic also I feel it has a very positive connotation to it.
They also wanted to play on that, like when it translates to Hindi it has to mean something in Hindi, Jadoo. But like if you go for like reverse polarity, you're not going to translate that well into Hindi. It's not going to happen.
Yeah,
Magic
ulta.
has a positive. When I think of magic, I'm just thinking of women disappearing. Like a magician makes the woman disappear, or cuts them in half. and
Why
he's like,
does
"I'm
it
gonna
have to
join."
be women?
Because that's what
But that was a very
they
common
do.
trick.
Magicians used to have assistants.
No, but magic, it means magic has a very positive connotation.
Your generation of magic is David Blaine and all these.
He's
street
talking
ma-
about PC Sarkar.
I'm thinking of PC Sarkar and all
See,
this.
but magic I mean in the philosophical sense of the word.
I'm
Ki
still
magic.
freaked
There's
out by
magic in
dude.
life. There is
Scares the
magic.
shit out of me. Anyway, that's a different topic.
You're scared of
But
magic?
I'm scared of magic, dude. I'm like, where did the thing go? And why are you making it really?
You don't believe that this is obviously a trick that you
it's
have
a
not
trick,
realized.
yes, but I'm freaked out. And David Blaine fucking floats and all. I'm like, dude,
Yeah,
what
David
the
Blaine's a
fuck?
little freaky, but
Yeah.
I don't
Anyway, Farhan Akhtar's debut on screen.
Yeah.
this was not his
movie.
debut though. Do you know this?
No, I don't.
He has
His
played a
debut is
small
actually
role, no, in
no
some
no no.
movie,
His
right?
debut is actually Luck by Chance was shot first.
Oh, but this says
Oh.
introducing.
This is introducing, but like
Yeah.
because it came out 6 months or 4 months before Luck by
Yeah,
Chance. But
yeah,
Luck by Chance
yeah.
was shot first, and then Rock On came out.
How do
And
you
it was shot.
How do you feel about? How do we feel about Farhan Akhtar?
Farhan Akhtar is not a bad actor.
Okay.
But you know, you watch this and you're like, oh, Farhan Akhtar did not exit this character's mindset for
Yes.
10 years after
Yes.
this movie. It makes no sense
So
that
he-
Farhan
he-
Akhtar has live concerts. These songs are not memorable enough and your voice is not good enough.
Yes. So this launched Farhan the actor, which I'm okay with.
Uh-huh.
This launching Farhan the musician is where I'm like,
Yeah. But I'm not like he sings as badly as everyone says he does. But I'm like, you shouldn't be singing this again. Sing it in this movie, it's fine.
Yeah.
It's okay. It's good enough for this movie. It
Yeah.
fits. It's all authentic and all that.
Right.
But don't sing at a mall near me 7 years after this movie. Like, that was too much.
okay.
He was also at this time, he was doing like lots of things.
So
no?
that's what I was going. He does this.
He kind of did.
There's
I can't-
Karthik calling Karthik.
I can't say he lost it, but at some point after Dawn, he was just like, I'll do everything. I'll act, I'll host a late night show, I'll
Yeah.
sing,
Yeah.
I'll just do anything and everything.
Hmm.
And then I think he settled into like, oh, I'm just going to act and produce
Yeah.
and direct.
Dude,
if one
every
movie
time
works
Farhan
out.
comes out with his movie, like as an actor, everybody is like, "Sale, ye time pass ke kara Don banana." Everybody keeps asking him to make Don,
But
which
I
is
feel like
hilarious.
Dawn is not his best movie.
Not at all. Okay, hot take. He hasn't made a really good movie after Dil Chahta Hai.
No, Laksh was good. I
Dil
like
Chahta
Laksh
Hai
was
was his
good.
first movie.
But that's what I think. Dil Chahta Hai was his peak. He
No, I
hasn't
thought
touched that.
Laksh and Dil Chahta Hai were movies that were as good as each other. It's just that Laksh was more
Really?
serious, and so like people don't want to engage with that as much.
Yeah.
And yeah, Dawn, we've done a Dawn episode where
Laksh was also
like,
two movies in one. No, the first half is a standalone separate movie, and the second movie is a standalone
Yeah.
separate movie.
Yeah.
Dawn is also Matrix and Dawn slammed
नहीं
together.
यार,
a little.
Matrix.
And Dawn or Dawn 2, I didn't think very highly of.
Yeah, nor did I. I
And I think
appreciated
Zoya
the.
is a way superior filmmaker.
I appreciated
Oh,
the
that is
twist.
true. Zoya definitely is a better
Yeah,
filmmaker.
there's no debate. But like, I appreciate the twist at the end of Dawn, which was a writing level.
Yeah, but you could see it
masterstroke.
coming from a mile away.
No, you couldn't see it
No.
coming because it was almost a scene for scene remake of the first Dawn, except for like production values change.
Yeah.
But like the story was the scene for scene for the first. So you're like, okay, you've been lulled into that sense of, oh, I know what's coming. And then at the end, you're like, oh, I didn't see this coming.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's a different movie. How do you feel about Farhan as an actor?
I like him. So the thing is, Farhan Akhtar, he has never. I might not watch a Farhan Akhtar movie where he's leading the film.
Okay.
Like I might not be as excited. Like I didn't watch Bhag Milka Bhag.
Okay.
I still haven't watched it. But he like you know how there are bad actors जो एकदम खराब ही कर देते हैं पूरा like नील नितिन मुकेश. There are
Wow. Okay. Shots fired.
so वैसा Farhan Akhtar
It's not even a hot take.
he it's yeah I mean
Because like
yeah.
everyone
We're
shits-
recording
every-
an episode later which has Nitin Mukesh.
I know,
I'm scared
everyone
about
shits
that
on,
now.
everyone shits on Neil Nitin Mukesh, and I'm like, okay.
Yeah, even I think he's fine, dude.
So I'm saying मैं example दे रही हूँ
Yeah,
उसका कि
okay.
basically फरहान अख्तर ही उसको जो roles मिलते हैं वो अच्छे से करता है. Like I'm convinced that this is the character and I never think of Farhan the person. I always think of the character, which is I think
Wow.
that's the basic, right?
I
Like
always
if you
think
are,
of Farhan the person.
Are you
I always think of
serious?
Farhan
He
the
did a
person
film
also.
called Lucknow Central. I'm like, I cannot believe this is a Lucknow boy. He is very
Oh.
much born and brought up in Bandra.
I haven't
South
watched
Bombay.
that film then because
I'm
I've
like, no.
because I feel like he has played
So
roles that are
that-
very close to his actual
That's what. But
personality.
Bhag Milka
anyway.
Bhag is not. Lucknow Central is not. So as long as he's playing the urban city boy, I'll believe it. But he also did this film called Fakir of Venice or something
That I
like
don't
that,
know.
which I think again was.
I didn't follow his
good.
acting career very closely.
Wazir
Yeah.
apparently is one of his better movies.
Okay, I haven't seen Wazir.
Yeah.
So yeah, I always think of Farhan the person, but I think he's a decent actor.
Yeah.
He was a
Not
decent
bad.
actor.
Yeah.
And
In this movie, at least.
Yeah.
So, of the four, Farhan, Arjun Rampal, Purab Kohli, and Luke Kenny, right? So, I have joked about this before on this podcast that Arjun Rampal won a national award for this film,
Yeah. He
did?
for best supporting
Yeah.
actor. Yes, and I was like, okay, it's a joke, and
Must have been a bad year for movies.
that's what, but when I rewatched Rock On, he's good in this movie.
Yeah.
The thing is, he's not bad, which is what you associate with Arjun Rampal, the actor. And like this also was like in a purple phase of his career. You know, this was the peak of his career. Om Shanti Om, Rock On, and Ravan. That was the most relevant he ever was as an actor.
Yeah.
He also did Daddy. Was it
I
around
don't
this
know.
time?
I don't
Where he
know.
played Arun Gawli, basically.
No, that was later. I think that
That
was
was
later.
later, yeah. He played, I think Ajnabi was around this time. Or was it
Ajnabi,
later?
everything is planned.
No,
Ajnabi
that
was-
is different. Sorry, Ek Ajnabi. That movie, Ek Ajnabi.
No, that was 2005.
That was 2005. So
Yeah.
came
Okay.
3 years before then. Yeah.
Yeah, no. Once he got into that like
Yeah, no.
Excel Entertainment, Red Chili's Entertainment.
Yeah,
Correct, yeah.
circuit,
They gave him roles that
they gave him roles that
fit
he
him.
could do, and he
Yeah.
was doing well in that.
So I think he's cast in this because of the four of them, he's the one who genuinely looks like a rock
He's
star.
he's the only one who looks like he's in a
Yeah.
rock band. Farhan Akhtar, I was actually Farhan Akhtar looks like he's in a rock band.
Farhan Akhtar looks like
that
the
scene-
guy who fought his way to be in the band.
No,
Like-
that scene where they are running and jumping off the pier into the lake.
Yeah.
I was like, this is a hard place to hold your own against Arjun Rampal, and Farhan Akhtar doesn't do badly. So I'm like, Farhan Akhtar is fine. Purab Kohli's hair in the flashback of the movie, that's good. That's very rock band. That I really
What about his
appreciate.
beard?
I'm with it. It was great.
Yeah.
Luke Kenny was Luke Kenny.
Yeah, Luke Kenny was cast because I mean you know who Luke Kenny is, right?
Yeah, he was a VJ.
He started as a DJ.
VJ.
He was a VJ, sorry,
Yeah.
and a DJ also.
Maybe.
And he headed the music department for Channel V. So he was there used to be this show called Luke's After Hours. I don't know if you remember.
I remember.
From I think post 10 p.m. to 12 p.m. Channel V used to run this,
Yeah.
where he used to program the set list. And I used to be hooked
This
to
movie
that.
has lots of VJs, no?
Yeah. Purab,
what-
it has Purab, it has Luke.
What is the-
Monica Dogra makes an appearance. of
Yeah, but
Shahana.
what is the name of Prachi Desai's friend in this movie?
Koel Puri.
Koel Puri was a
Yeah,
VJ.
yeah.
Purab Kohli was a
okay.
VJ. Luke
Yeah.
Kenny was a VJ.
Koel Puri was a talk show host. Was she a VJ?
At the time of this movie, I think she was a talk show host / movie reviewer. But before that, I think she was a VJ.
Koel's Couch, I think her
Yeah,
her show
yeah,
was
yeah.
called. But yeah, Luke Kenny, big time music person, and then he was cast in this.
Yeah.
And he's actually had a consistent acting career since. He's been cast in a lot of movies.
Not heard
I
of
went through the IMDb page, and he was in Sacred Games a couple of years ago.
Well, that was
So-
very
Yeah.
small, if I remember.
Yeah.
And he played Aurangzeb in Tanaji. So, so he has had
The
a consistent.
Irish Aurangzeb.
Wow.
So he's had surprisingly a consistent.
मतलब हर बार
movie
मरने वाले
career.
रोल्स ही चाहिए इसको.
Purab, I think, is overdoing it in this movie a little
Purab,
bit.
that's
Especially
what
in the
I'm saying.
flashbacks.
It's because that arc of Excel Entertainment where everyone's like he's essentially Saif from Dil Chahta Hai in a rock environment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Saif from Dil Chahta Hai is a hard thing to live up to.
Right, correct.
If you're not an actor, if you're just a VJ, like
Yeah, and also Purab, I feel like I've seen a lot of his ads during that time. मैं तभी थोड़ी छोटी थी, तो I remember it very. He was just playing the same character that he used to play in those ads.
no, but you
He's
know,
playing himself.
Like I have
Yeah.
stopped grading actors on that because I'm like, you be the same person. Don't be a different person. Just then you select your roles more carefully. But because if you can only be the same person, that's not a bad thing. You're a person. There have to be enough things you connect to and enough people to connect to you, and people will believe your representation of a role.
Yeah.
But then just select your roles properly. Which in this case, Purab Kohli was fine. It was just not a great performance.
But Purab Kohli very cute though.
yeah,
I
that
think
really saved
of
it.
all the four
Yeah.
of them, Purab Kohli was the one guy I had my eyes on. Then and even today, I'm like Purab Kohli so cute.
Where are you seeing him today?
Today as in like rock on only.
Oh, acha, okay.
Yeah.
In the movie, I thought like,
Like
still...
even in this age, I was like
Ah, okay.
Purab is cute. Very cute.
Okay.
I like him way more in the later scenes when he's become a jeweler than when he's playing the drums. And I like that one outburst that he has before they go on stage. कि अगर मुझे 20 मिनट अकेले भी
Yeah,
बजाना
that
पड़ा
was.
ना,
I was like,
तो
this
मैं
is a
बजा
place.
लूँगा.
This is like a place where you can easily fail, and you did not. So
Yeah.
props for that.
Purab also like in the flashback scenes, no, he's barely recognizable. So like if you ask me to like name one dialogue that Purab says in the flashback scene, मुझे कुछ याद ही नहीं आएगा. Purab मुझे बस वो म्यूजिक स्टूडियो में याद है जब भी वो उनको thumbs up दिखाता है. But like he's barely there.
Remember what he was called in the movie?
Killer
what was
Killer
it?
Drummer, yes. What do you
Killer
think of
Drummer,
that name? KD.
It was fine. It was Kedar became KD became Killer Drummer.
Yeah.
So I was
Yeah.
like, that's okay.
Yeah.
Like the like even the songs, the rock music of the movie is not very rock. It's very Bollywoodish with
It
rock
is good, but
instruments.
it was as rock as Bollywood could get.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But like this movie made a big effort at the time to be like, oh, this is very authentically rock. You know, like.
Dude, so, but that's my point. I don't think without rock on, you could have a Yellow Diaries or a Local Train or these plethora of Hindi rock bands that exist.
And
today.
I
also,
feel
like,
they would anyway.
They would, but they wouldn't be as famous. Because there's a generation which grew up on songs by rock on. They'll be like, yeah,
I don't think a generation grew up on songs of rock on.
Yeah,
I don't think.
I don't think they grew up on it. I think they watched rock on and they enjoyed it.
She did. Gen Z has
same.
spoken.
I don't know. It was a bad generation to grow up in.
Wow. Okay.
It was a sparse generation to grow up in.
Dude, okay, let's talk about the music.
Yes, please.
It was a great entry point into rock, I feel. Like, I think that's what the movie was trying to be to some extent, to be like, oh, this is going to be your entry into rock.
The thing is, so at this time, the only sort of band which was like really big, which was not doing English music, was Indian Ocean. But Indian Ocean is as artsy and indie that as you can get, right?
To put this into perspective, just think of Farhan Akhtar and Arjun Rampal's characters in the movie. I feel like they are so relevant. They will be, I think their characters and the conflict that has stood the test of time. See, I'll explain, okay. So, Arjun Rampal plays this artsy guy जिसको हल्का सा भी कॉम्प्रोमाइज नहीं चलेगा. ही इज लाइक, मतलब वो ऐसा लड़का है कि उसने अगर डेथ के ऊपर 40 मिनट लिखा है तो बर्थडे पार्टी में भी भैंचोद में वही सेट करेगा. आई विल नॉट कॉम्प्रोमाइज. बट nobody wants to listen to your jokes about death.
As comedians, we have seen how that arc goes for a person who doesn't compromise.
I know, that's what. So, and Farhan Akhtar is the guy
it goes
who's
exactly like in the movie. I'm just, don't be mistaken.
Yeah. And so Farhan Akhtar plays the guy who's like, मैं थोड़ा compromise कर लूँगा, थोड़ा I'll be, you know, he has like a business side to him also, where he knows how to deal with producers.
But the conflict here is because he signs on to it without consulting the other.
Yeah, that was a clear red flag. Not really red flag, but like that was a clear mistake.
The point that I was making was that because you were saying that rock on में जो songs है वो थोड़े Bollywoodized है. They are not as rock. I feel like अगर if Arjun Rampal, a person like Arjun Rampal would have made the film, then वो वैसे songs होते, but then nobody would have remembered.
You mean Arjun Rampal the character or the actor?
The character.
No, she's saying if it actually existed, like she's seeing the music through that lens, through the character's lens.
If Rock On as a movie, it was made by Farhan Akhtar, the character of Farhan Akhtar.
But I have a I have a point to this. The music is done by Shankar-Ehsaan-Loy, which is the perfect combination. Ehsaan Nurani has a rock background.
Yeah, that's great.
Loy Mendonça worked in advertising and was also in a band. And Shankar Mahadevan was this both, like he has this classical lineage where he has done a lot of Carnatic
but
and classical.
Vishal Shekhar was also big in Bollywood at the time. And Vishal was an active band member.
I'm a member of Pentagram, yeah. So, so this story is roughly based. I mean, you can apply this to any rock band, innumerable rock bands where they thought the lead singer was getting more attention, so they broke up.
Yeah.
But this roughly is based on Indiscreet, the Indian band. Uday Benegal is a friend of Farhan Akhtar's. Uday Benegal also sang the song in Wake Up Sid, the Life is Crazy.
Like I'll tell you, my issue with the soundtrack is that the best song on the thing is not by Magik.
Ye tumhari meri baat.
No, Zehreelay is the best song on the album. Zehreelay is the best song on the album.
Now you're just being contrary for the sake
I'm not being contrary, bro. It's a song just to enjoy itself. It has no meaning. It has no like, because Rock On for a rock band has so many songs about love. And I'm like, who's singing this much, bro? Zehreelay was just purely like, I like snakes. I'm going to sing about snakes. Snakes are the shit. And that is such a great premise for a song.
That's so funny because Suraj Jagan, the guy who plays the lead singer of Vayu, what are they called in the band?
Zehreelay the band. That song is
Chakravyuh. They're called Chakravyuh from Bangalore. The Bangalore guys are extreme in edgy. He has his own band, still does, called Dream Out Loud, who play this chill psychedelic music. So Suraj Jagan in real life is very anti Zehreelay, but they make him sing.
He played that role damn well. He played that role. I don't understand what the hate for Zehreelay is about.
Because they're bullies.
Forget the character, the song, just a song.
It's a metal song.
Yeah, and it's great. It's the one song that's not trying to be many things at once.
It's the generalization. If this was a high school movies, then they would be the football players. So it's essentially that these metal guys.
I don't care about the character
guys
at
are
this point.
aggressive.
I'm discussing just as a song. It's a
fine.
focused,
That's
great,
your
fun
opinion,
song.
no, but like.
It's like your opinion.
I'll tell you. No, wait, I'll tell you. I'm not a big follower of rock. Big to kya, choti bhi nahi hai. But I genuinely enjoyed all the songs in Rock On. Okay, and I genuinely thought that I could take an interest in rock. So I tried listening. It was like you said, it's a great entry point. So it like lured me in कि अगर Zehreelay ने पूरे गाने बनाए रहते तो मैं इतनी interest नहीं लेती.
I was fucking with Zehreelay at the time of its release, and I watched this movie and I was like, fucking this
Because
song.
you were an angsty
is a
teenager, bro.
No.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll tell you. Okay, Socha Hai is just. I was in FYJC Science at the point this movie came out. Okay, all the questions listed in Socha Hai were answered in the first semester itself. पानी गीला क्यों है? It's a phenomenon called surface tension. Water is not wet. You feel water is wet. It's answered by surface tension. आसमान नीला क्यों है? It's called scattering of light.
So you're essentially saying Magik helped you pass your exam.
No. I watched it. I'm like, this is a very dumb song, bro. If I was 1 year younger, I would be like, what a song.
How is Pichle Saath Din any clever?
Pichle Saath Din was panned at the time,
Yeah.
and I was like, okay, this is off Magik the band. I was like, this is probably my favorite song because it's a song about nothing. And I had a little problem with like, at the end of it, this is a song about some girl whose number he has lost. Essentially, it's essentially that he has thrown in some Mary Jane and all just for some effect. But essentially, it's like, I miss this girl.
I think Javed Saab just learned that day that marijuana is also called Mary Jane.
Maybe.
कहाँ use कर सकते?
But wait. What are the other questions in Socha Hai?
हाँ.
Just do you all remember?
आसमान नीला क्यों पानी गीला क्यों गोल क्यों है
It's because planets, when they rotate, all planets are round because that's the most efficient shape to hold the maximum volume with the least surface area.
But have you ever thought about it?
सिल्क में है नरमी क्यों
It's that soft, I guess.
Something. क्यों आग में है गर्मी क्यों?
आग is
दो
not-
और दो पाँच क्यों नहीं?
Aag is not hot. Aag is not hot. There is a temperature difference between you and Aag, so you feel Aag is hot. Aag is not hot.
दो और दो पाँच क्यों नहीं?
Because that is the basic rule of maths we have all agreed to live by. Maths is not real. You know this, right? Maths is not real. Maths is a system where each
सन्नाटा
thing...
कभी सुनाई नहीं देता.
It's like... that's
और हवाएं दिखाई नहीं
Actually,
देती.
सन्नाटा सुनाई
Hawa
देता
dikhai
है.
dega. Have you been
सन्नाटा
to Delhi in the
सुनाई देता
winter?
है.
You will see Hawa, bro. It's called fluid dynamics.
पेड़ हो गए. That's an existential
पेड़ हो गए
question.
what?
पेड़ हो गए
कम
कम क्यों? Global warming, bro.
No, bro. It's because you fucking want... It's
Industrialization.
capitalism, bro. Like, what? पेड़ हो गए कम क्यों? It's not a natural phenomenon that you explain. Like, oh, you know, the sun has entered this phase, and so now we are tilted
can't
more
believe-
towards...
The
You've gone
plants
so
are not
logical.
the plants are not planting anymore.
No, I was just... Because in the FYJC, I was like, this song is not good. Lyrically. It has a good enough vibe. I appreciated that, like, except for Sinbad the Sailor, they have not tried to add any other instrument
No, but-
to the music of the movie. That I appreciated.
But you know what as far Javed Akhtar's justification is for songs like this, even like Darde Disco.
Darde Disco is a great song.
Yeah, but
I have no problem
in
with the
Darde
lyrics.
Disco,
Nothing.
he says that the situation in the movie is that this man is in an item song. So Farah Khan gave him the brief that it has to be, it has to not
Correct.
make
And
sense.
Socha is the opening song. And so,
But for him, it's like rock bands, rock music again is the kind of music
very
that
philosophical.
No,
It makes you think.
quite the
And so I'm going to
opposite.
ask these questions that are answered by FYJC Science. That's what the logic was, according to me. What were you saying?
No, I was saying, so his brief is that it has to be palatable to kids who are coming to these
Yeah.
youngsters.
Huh.
So it does not have to be on the poetic level of the average Hindi song that I have to write.
No, bro. If you want to
See,
cater
I'll
to
tell you.
youngsters, the number one rule...
We don't need no education.
The
It's-
number
is wrong because there is
See,
a
you know-
The number-
grammatical
the
What
number
is
one
the
rule to
best
ca-
thing? No, you know what is the best thing about love? You know, it's the curiosity you feel towards someone कि इसका ये कैसे क्या है.
हाँ.
And you know how there's a childlike curiosity in asking why is the sun yellow, why is the roof so high, you know, this that. I think that is what he tried to, like, you know,
Maybe I was just too
encapsulate.
old for this movie when it
Yeah,
came out at
and
16.
cynical also slightly. I
But-
feel. Yeah.
No man, FYJC student mindset is very troubled. So I can get
No, it
that.
was not. It was literally like this movie came out, I think, in August. It came out in the monsoon, so it was not very deep into first semester.
Yeah.
And I was like, bro, how do I already know the answers to all of these questions?
Okay.
You want things to make sense. Don't listen to songs.
It doesn't make sense. It's like because
Guys, are you surprised Mikhail doesn't enjoy fun things?
I enjoy, bro. I like Zehreelay bastard. What are you talking about? It's a song about snakes, kale, nile, pile, and you're saying I want to have fun. What is wrong with you, bro? I wanted the songs to be fun, but like you're trying to be philosophical, but you're not being philosophical enough. You're trying to be like, you know what happened in my life in this last week, but like it's not that interesting because you've ended it on like I lost this number for girl. Then Sinbad the Sailor. On the rewatch this time, I was like, okay, fine. This is a song that I can somewhat get with, even though I don't like vibe with the tune or the music.
I think it's the weakest song on the album.
No, I was like, okay, this is at least this is a song with a theme like, oh, Sinbad the Sailor is essentially an artist who's not giving up. He gets drowned, he gets whacked by waves.
It's the song of the story essentially, right?
Yeah, it's like you don't give up, you're an artist. An artist never gives up. That's what the song is essentially to me.
My issue with that is it's not a strong enough song to end the movie.
Yeah, it's not a strong enough song to end the movie on. Strong enough song to end the movie is Zehreelay. I wanted on the rewatch.
It's such a cute ballad.
I wanted that bald
That's
guy.
the movie ends on.
I wanted that bald. I don't
His
know why
name is
that.
Suraj Jagan. Okay.
I don't know why that bald Zehreelay guy did not have. Like he became a good guy in the second house, and I was like, why are you good?
No,
Fucking
but
be who you were. You were great.
See, he had an arc. He was the asshole metal
Yeah, he was
singer.
asshole. Yeah.
But then when he becomes the head of the music company, he actually gives Magic a second chance.
Yeah.
So we are supposed to think that okay, this guy actually is promoting good young talent.
No, and then
rather than being a
there was a verification for him becoming good with like Farhan Akhtar's first girlfriend marrying him to be like, okay, so if we trust that girl obviously because Farhan was the dick, and if you approve of this guy, he's actually good. So it was a blue tick for
But
him.
this I never understood. Why did Farhan have to break up with his girlfriend? Just because
he
the
was
band
angry,
didn't
yaar.
work out. This was very like ये collateral damage हो गया ये उसको.
No,
that's the thing
I got
too.
that. It was blind anger.
Okay.
He just wanted to leave that whole situation, and he was like, "Bro, you to get out."
My
That's not-
my
He was
thing
like,
is
I don't like if I'm
see,
leaving this situation, I'm not going to stick with you. So you are also now part of this situation. If this situation has gone to shit, you also
exactly,
go to shit.
yeah. When you're in
is
life,
actually- it is
in
very-
life when you're in a difficult situation, you want to leave everything behind,
Yeah.
including the person you're dating.
And this is probably very male logic, which is why you have a difficulty understanding.
Sure,
this.
and
This was never a question. I was like, I get this behavior completely. I completely understand where you're coming from.
It gives something for the. It justifies the Prachi character in a way that he chose an arranged marriage with Prachi over the.
Was it mentioned
passionate
arranged
love.
marriage?
It's quite.
It's maybe
apparent,
implied
I mean.
by how cold the marriage
Yeah,
is initially.
exactly.
Exactly,
Yeah.
because then
But-
she would have known. No, भाई वो
Probably.
कह रही है कि मुझे तुम्हारे पास्ट के बारे में कुछ नहीं पता. मैं कहा शादी की है तो पता तो होना चाहिए ना.
No, but even
So that's how it is understood that it's an arranged marriage.
But again, this is pre-social media, so I can kind of
Pre-social
understand
media.
that why
It
was easy to hide.
that was another reason I was like, this movie can't be made 3 years later, is because social media would reveal everything about your life.
Yeah.
And first of all, if you wanted something hidden, it would be in your personal Gmail folder, and no one will ever find it.
Yeah.
So this movie is it's aged well for that time of like, oh, physical media was a thing,
Yeah.
and like.
Don't download music, buy the
Yeah,
CD.
you'll physically discover a photo. You'll have to like ask a person to know about their life.
Yeah.
You can't just like look it up and then go talk
That's
to them
true.
about it.
Yeah.
I think the detailing in this movie is actually quite good. That's one thing I noticed, that when the climax ka Launchpad concert is happening, like they've paid attention so much that it starts in the afternoon and ends in the evening. It starts
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
pre-sunset and goes till post-sunset, which is
Yeah.
how most rock festivals happen.
Yeah.
Like if this was any other Hindi film, they would have just shot it either completely in the dark or completely in the night.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That one little thing
Yeah.
was good.
Yeah.
Okay, we have to take a break. We haven't spoken about Shahana Goswami's character at all. We'll talk about that in the second half. I have some more points about the music, and we'll do the real badass segment right after this break. If you're watching us on YouTube, please like, share, and subscribe to the channel. And if you're listening to us on an audio platform, please leave a review and rate us highly. It helps us reach more people. We'll see. We'll create more magic on the other side of this break. See you. Hey, As It Age Well listeners, being a fan of this show already makes you a badass. But you know what will complement your badassery even more? The Wildstone Badass Perfume range. They've got 3 kick-ass variants: whiskey, ammo, and cigar. I've tried them myself and the fragrances totally live up to their name. And here's a special offer for you guys. Use the promo code IVM10 to get 10% discount applicable on all products on www.wildstone.in. And this 10% discount is over and above whatever deal you're getting on the site anyway. Wildstone Badass Perfume Range. It's too bad for good guys. And we're back on As It Aged Well, presented by Wildstone Perfumes. The badass line of fragrances are out right now. With me in the studio is my co-host Urjita and our guest Mikhail.
Hello.
Guys, let's do the real badass segment, which is brought to us by Wildstone Perfumes. Mikhail, which character for you was the most badass character in Rock On from 2008?
I think it's very obvious who I found the most badass. It's the bald guy from Zehreelay.
Oh man!
That guy, bro.
Actually, that's a really good
How can you
choice.
disagree? That guy, he was an asshole when he was young, and he liked to have fun and sing about snakes. And then he grows up, and like he has an actual growth character arc. And he's like, oh, I'm a nice guy. I will not get in
His
the way.
name is Ajay in the movie. Stop
He's
calling
bald
him
guy
that.
from Zehreelay. He's like, okay, I'm not going to get in the way of my rivals. I'm going to have a happy marriage. I'm not going to be jealous of my wife's exes.
That's
I'm
true.
just going to encourage people. I'm happy.
Yeah.
That's a great choice. Bald guy from Zehreelay.
Ball guy from Zehreelay.
Who's your favorite?
पत्थर की आंखें दांत है नुकीले. He will just not, that song, that's why I love that song. He will just, until you picture every aspect of that snake, he will not let you go. He will tell you about the eyes, the teeth,
The
काले नीले
movements,
पीले.
colors, everything.
Yeah. That best song.
My most badass character is Debbie, played by Shahana Goswami.
Quite
I think
a
she's
badass
also the best performance in the movie because she's like
No,
this.
no, she's not the best.
Not the bald.
Don't say bald guy.
second
No,
to the
it's
bald.
not the ball guy. It's not the ball guy. You want to know who the best is?
Who is?
Her mother-in-law.
Nana.
Her Nana. Nana is the most authentically cast
Nana.
person. हम masculinists ने कभी ऐसा cheap काम नहीं किया.
Yeah. Which
I was like, this
You
person
get where
is
Joe's-
so Catholic. My God, you're so authentically Catholic, and I love
एक
it.
कैथलिक आंटी को
This
उठाया
is the
उन्होंने
first.
बिठाया.
This is the
Wait.
first movie where some Catholic has not said, मेरे को मच्छी मांगता है, मेरे को पाव मांगता है.
But Debbie is selling fishes.
But she's not talking
She's
like
not
this,
talking
like an
about this,
idiot.
yeah. I like to change my answer. My most badass character is Nana. Because I think in that one line, she tells you where Joe's principles come from.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah, no, it was a
masculineness.
great, that one line, because that's all her characters. It's just that one line. It's like, oh, Joe is weighed down first by his mom.
Yeah.
Wow, I just remembered we have to do the next thing with the badass character. Now Nana doesn't make so much sense, but we'll come to that.
I thought we were doing badass characters.
We will do, but
It's
there's
okay, yeah.
another element to it
It's
which
okay,
we'll come
keep
to.
Shahana
Acha.
Goswami, no problem.
Okay, fine. My Debbie is my most badass character because she's no nonsense, yet she has an aesthetic eye for styling, and she just sort of like back when the movie came out, I thought she's a nagging wife, but now I see her, and I'm like, dude, Joe required her.
Joe required her, that's
her
the
life.
thing.
Yeah.
Because I can't disagree that she was slightly nagging, but like Joe required that. There
And
was no
also
other way around it.
I think they have tried to show her as this wife who is pulling back her husband. Unknowingly they did that. Like they didn't villainize her as much as they villainized Kalki in ZNMD. My most badass character was Prachi Desai because she looks like very demure as a character. वो एकदम ही मतलब शांत स्वभाव की है, but she is the one who actually brought them together. Like उसको मस्ती है थोड़ी, कीड़े उसके बॉडी में कीड़े है, उसको सबको साथ में लाना था.
Mikhail's
And
not convinced.
I'm
Yeah.
not convinced.
See, badass doesn't always have to be, ऐसे
It's Zehreelay from
The entire our entire theme, Urjita's theme throughout the badass segment has been goodness is badass, guys. Being
shut up, dude.
genuine is bad.
No, I never said that.
What is this?
No, listen, I have a reason, okay. See, first of all, she is the one who did everything. She got them together and, she convinced her husband to be happy.
But that's a plot device. That's
No,
not.
I get it. See, she wasn't happy in her marriage, so she went out and made things happen so that she gets her husband
Exactly.
back.
It's not like she's sitting at home and cribbing, मेरा पति तो किसी चीज से खुश रहता ही नहीं
Which,
है.
first of all, I'll tell you
She
something.
could have gone
I'll tell
and
you
had an affair
the,
with
the,
someone
the,
else,
The
but she
redemption of
didn't.
Farhan Akhtar in the movie essentially boiled down to when he comes into the building, he says, "Hi Bahadur, kaisa hai?" And I'm like, this is not a good enough redemption. Because they've set it up first, right? When the movie starts, he has a bath in silence. He dresses up in silence.
He also yells at his house help.
He yells at his house help. When he goes down, that guy stands up, he's like, "Salam Saab," and he just walks past and he goes straight in the car and drives off. And then once he's reunited with Magik, then he's like a little happier and it all crescends into, "Hi Bahadur, kaisa hai?" And I'm like, this is, do something more, dude.
Dude, it's good enough. See, you don't
Bro,
have to do, if he would have done more things, अगर वो NGO में biscuit बांटता, तो then you would have said कि that is too on the nose, bro. You would have said that.
That's true. I do have a tendency to crib for everything.
Yeah.
But
We got that in 56 minutes that we've been
Yeah.
recording.
No, but
This feels like your therapy session at this point.
But
See,
I was
I'll
like-
tell you, but this is my segment.
Yeah,
I was talking about
Prachi
why
Desai.
Prachi is the badass character because I feel, for me, actions speak louder than words, as for everyone. But it's just that उसका ऐसा नहीं है. See, again, उसका पति interested नहीं है शादी में. मतलब he loves her of course, but then he doesn't like her as a person. It seems like he's not showing interest in her.
Right.
क्योंकि वो मतलब he seems to be very काम कर रहा है, घर पे कुछ बात नहीं कर रहा है. So any wife in her place would have thought that maybe the problem is with me. She would have tried to either ignore him, कि fuck it, I'll also have my own life, I'll go party, I'll do this, I'll pursue a new career or anything. But she was like, no, there has to be a reason why he doesn't look happy. She went to the bottom of it and then she finally figured it and she brought him out of that dark place, which is
I
such
agree.
a great thing to do.
I agree
This
with
is not badass enough.
Okay, Mikhail, so your badass character was
Zehreelay
bald
bald
guy from Zehreelay. If you had to assign a Wildstone,
ZBG.
if you had to assign a Wildstone badass fragrance to that character, the 3 flavors are whiskey, ammo, and cigar. Which flavor would you assign to bald guy from Zehreelay?
He's straight up ammo, bro. This is not even a debate. He is straight up ammo. He lost what is essentially an open mic competition. And then he physically bumped into people and be like, oops, did I hurt you? In the most seductive voice
and then
possible.
went on to be the head of a music
Yeah,
company.
went on to be the head of the thing and he was like, oh, first, wait now. Now I'll really hurt you.
Okay. This is why I was hesitant to take Naina as a badass character. Naina ko main whiskey or cigar.
Nana cigar, very chill cigar.
Shahana Goswami, Debbie would.
No, whiskey would go very well with Nana.
Debbie would smell like fish, but that flavor is not available for Wildstone. So I would give her whiskey.
Nice.
I think Debbie downs a few after a hard day's work. And she's
Yeah.
like, there you go, Joe. I think you're the only one who
Prachi,
can have.
Prachi, this is actually the difficult one to give.
Yeah, what
Prachi
would you
whiskey,
assign?
I thought of whiskey.
Really?
Bro,
because I
she will
feel-
not touch Pepsi also, bro. You're saying whiskey and all.
She just had to smell like it, Mikhail.
Bro,
Yeah.
I'm
she
telling you,
always
I'm
smelled
telling
good.
you, I'm giving it to you in writing. Her character is vegetarian.
Okay, that's a separate conversation. What's the most badass moment for you from Rock On?
Most badass moment, I think, is Arjun Rampal just walking out on the taxi.
When does that happen?
He's going to the airport.
Towards
Yeah,
the
yeah,
end.
yeah.
And then he's in traffic, and then he hears the song play on the radio, and he's like, "I'm walking and going." We are from Bombay, so we know, okay, this is happening at Carter Road.
Yeah.
But where the traffic is, there's no like indication of
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
But he just left, and he just got, and I don't know how he left the traffic. He got the gig. I don't know how he connected his wires, what tech setup he did. He just came playing onto stage.
The bald guy from
Who let
Zehreelay
him
was
on?
ready.
Who let him on stage in the middle
Bald
of a
guy
gig?
from Zehreelay.
Yeah, bald guy from Zehreelay. Bro,
Yeah.
he's the real.
My most badass moment is when KD unravels, like he gets the Jeep back when he takes off the cover from the Jeep. Urjita, for you,
Yeah.
most badass moment?
I think the Sindbad the Sailor song, I feel.
The entire song?
Yeah.
Okay.
Did you like the use of synthesizer in the song?
I did, because essentially Rob's job is to play the keyboards, and no other song has like a very heavy use of the keyboard. So I'm like, it's okay.
I found it a little odd. There were two iterations of that, when they're playing it first, and then later when it's the last song that they play. And the last song it fit well, and that was the idea also. But I was just like, it's come a bit out of nowhere. But I was like,
It's okay.
can't say anything.
I like it. Mikhail, does Rock On from 2008 pass the badass vibe check for you?
Yeah. Yeah.
Who would have saw that coming? Who would
Yeah.
have seen
I
that
didn't see it coming until like 3 seconds before that question. But I'm like, yeah, it does.
Just
I-
because
like,
of Zehreelay.
it's because that
Because
movie
of
has
Zehreelay.
actually kind of aged well.
Hmm.
Like I feel the point of a movie is it's to transport you to a time along with the story.
Agreed.
And like there are many movies that won't do that very well. But this somehow did. I like the easiest way to transport yourself to a time in at least Indian movies to me is to show traffic. Because a set of cars that you see in 2016 will be very reminiscent of 2016. To me, to my mind, might not apply to everyone. They did enough of that. They had like pictures, CDs, cassettes. It was just, I don't know. It was very.
There was just something about that film. I agree, because I also
It was a very
went
hopeful
back to the V channel and
Yeah.
MTV days. I agree.
It was a very
I agree.
hopeful movie. It was very like, oh, this is like 2000 UPA 1 crescendo. This is not yet like policy paralysis. This is not like, oh, we're divided politically straight down the middle. It was like, oh, it's a hopeful time that
Okay,
we can
Piche
make a
Damram.
movie. We can make a movie for like rock aficionados.
Yeah.
Nice. For me also, I think it passes the badass vibe check. I was a rock music geek at that time. I liked everything about it then. I like it by and large even today. I think the music holds up. So yeah, I think Magik, the song, and the name is a little ridiculous, but I think the band is pretty cool. So
I think, how we covered the music of the film, and the one thing that just stands out for me is that no sexism in songs.
Yeah.
Just, I feel like if
'Cause
it
they're
was
answering
any
science
other...
questions.
Shut the fuck up.
There's no sexism in science.
So my biggest takeaway from the film was that if this was made by any other director, like it was very easy to lose the innocence. Like, because it's like you guys are musicians, of course. Hey, teri tang, meri tang. Anything could have happened. The songs could have been about anything, and it would have been okay for people. But
Which rock song has gone Teri Tang, Meri Tang?
I mean, actually, if you go by it, there are quite a few sexist rock songs. You Shook Me All Night Long and Queen
I don't think that's sexist. How is that sexist?
Rocket Queen is pretty sexist by Guns N' Roses.
I've not heard
Okay,
Rocket
I meant
Queen.
sexist
But
and
most
sexual.
AC/DC songs are about vigorous sex.
Yeah.
Sex is not sexist.
It's not, but the way they describe getting to the sex is sometimes sexist. Motley Crue songs are sexist. Anyway,
Motley Crue I've not heard a lot of.
There's this movie Past the Badass Vibe check.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, cool. So that's a yes from all of us, and that was our real badass segment brought to us by our friends at Wildstone Perfumes. Let's carry on. You have a quiz for us, Urjita?
I do. I have 2 quiz questions for you
How was
guys.
I not informed of this? I would have paid more attention to the
It's
movie.
okay. This quiz doesn't have to be like accurate and shit.
Okay,
Yeah,
fine.
yeah. Don't play
It's
it
not.
down like that. You don't have to be accurate, but then you can try.
Sure.
Okay, so first question. In the videotape that Prachi finds in the storage room, what adventurous activity is Farhan Akhtar talking about in that video? He starts off by talking about it.
Skydiving?
No.
I don't know.
Skiing?
No.
Bungee jumping?
No. But you're close.
Snakes.
Snorkeling?
No. The first one was close.
First one was bungee jumping.
No. First one was skydiving. You said skydiving. It's close to that. He literally starts off कि तो हम ये कर रहे थे और फिर उसने ऐसा कर दिया.
I don't know.
I don't know.
Parasailing. He's talking about parasailing.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, second question. There is a very subtle Dil Chahta Hai reference in the movie. There's a very subtle Dil Chahta Hai reference
That
in
he
the
called
film.
and he said, let's go to Goa without
Yes,
any. Yeah.
correct.
I have a quiz question.
Okay.
So when Magik wins the launch pad the first time and they sing Saat Dino Mein, what year is it in the movie?
Oh, 2005.
It's mentioned in the song.
2005.
No, it's not. But it's there. It's there in the movie.
2005?
No.
It's either 7 or 8.
No.
I have no clue.
You want to take another
6.
guess?
Is it like lesser than 2005? Oh, 2003.
It's 1998 in the movie. So essentially, it's 10 years since Magik broke up and
Correct.
reformed.
Yes, I remember.
Oh, so like
Correct.
this is set in the 90s.
The
Launch
flashback
pad
is
and
set in the
flashback is set in the
90s.
Oh,
yeah,
fuck,
yeah,
this
yeah.
I never noticed.
But we have not discussed the most iconic way this movie has aged.
That Anu Malik is in it.
That is one great thing. That is the best thing that has aged because
literally says the line "Aag laga dega."
Aag laga dega, and he's Anu Malik. When you watch this movie, you're like, oh, Anu Malik was the Ravi Shastri of the 2000s. He's just this boisterous, loud person who doesn't think about what he says and is just throwing shit. And so he has aged that appearance has aged extremely well.
Absolutely.
But the way this movie has actually aged in the public consciousness is through a meme.
Which one?
Devarshi on roadies.
Oh yeah, Rock On.
Rock On का गाना गा रहा हूँ. And he sings like 2-3 songs.
Yes.
And that is people remember that more than the movie for the most part.
That is so
And he
true
gets
because
the
while I
lyrics
was
way
listening to the songs, I was like, I can't stop thinking about
Yeah.
Devarshi.
I watched the first song played. And I was like, fuck, this guy is too iconic.
And the fact that he's
I
like,
looked him up afterwards. He has done a 1-hour interview podcast. And he looks like, you know who? He looks like Singhania Saab from the 70s movies.
Really?
Yeah, like he's put on lots of weight. And he has, you know how like there's a tie, there's a bow tie. And then there's like some handkerchief inside your t-shirt. And he has come on the podcast with that. I'm like,
What podcast is this?
some random thing on you. You put Devarshi Patel, you will get Rodi's interview and this.
Okay.
Check it out if you feel like it.
Devarshi Patel, my favorite part about that whole interview was he's like, गाना गाना चाहूँगा, Rock On का गाना है, 1 minute, और वो चश्मा लगाता है, and he wears. The moment he wears, Raghu and Raju, they start giggling. They're like, this is going to be a ride.
I want to talk about the scene, the contract scene, where the executive is played by Jameel Khan.
Jameel Khan,
who,
best boss in movies actually.
I love the way he says tempo.
Mangta hai. You know what is that is not his most iconic role for me. His most iconic role was in Lions of Punjab.
Oh, I was just about to say, he's
Where
in
he was
this
like,
hilarious film called Lions of Punjab.
Bokare event management number 1. I have said that line randomly through the last decade to myself and just laughed. And I don't know how he has this knack. I don't know how many people he has interacted with in casting studios to just know exactly how to
Exactly how,
portray
yeah,
a powerful
yeah.
person in the arts.
I was just thinking that even in today, you would find that person
Yeah.
in a music
Yeah.
company or a entertainment
अरे
company.
ये सब नहीं जाता बच्चा. तुम वो करोगे जो मैं कहूँगा.
Yeah. And also
Great.
like honestly, so what do you think about his demands? Like his demand was कि तुम एक गाना अपना हटाओ और एक मेरा डालो.
Actually,
album में.
having worked in show business for some very reasonable
That's a
demand.
very
Yeah.
reasonable demand.
Like,
yes.
this
So
is
Yeah.
very reasonable.
Yeah.
वो and then the fact that they didn't want Debbie to be the stylist, I feel that was also very reasonable. Like वो उनको they would want the album to do well. So that is why they would take a stylist that you know is trusted.
Yeah,
So-
but then in the plot, then you get 2 strikes for Joe. 2 things Joe wants. His ballad is
Yeah.
gone.
Yeah.
And then his girlfriend doesn't.
No,
get
also
to be
he's
the-
kind of dismissed, or he feels or he's made to
Yeah,
look dismissed
yeah.
in the recording studio
Yeah,
with
because,
Sukhani, who's again a great show business character. Darling, ऐसा नहीं होता है. I'm just because I've met this exact person.
And the fact that they're making a rock album and he says, हाँ भाई सुभाष घाई की कर्ज जब
Yeah,
बनी थी.
because I was just like, oh, this movie released in 2008, Curse came out in 1980. So
Yeah.
in current terms, it's like, oh, have you worked
3
on something?
decades,
In 1995, you know what I worked on?
Yeah.
It's like that.
Yeah.
And also like I loved how Farhan dealt with him because see we have all met people like these. Like even as a writer I've seen ऐसे बड़े-बड़े जो producers हैं, they will some random reference they'll give कि ऐसा ही चाहिए. So then if you don't say no directly
Yeah.
and you don't show your disappointment on your face. That is the first rule.
Yeah, yeah.
Like you of course you try to like if you agree with them just say yes. If you don't agree with them say no after 3-4 lines.
Yeah,
But like there is
yeah.
a roundabout way of doing things.
There's
Like how
there's
Farhan Akhtar said कि आप बता रहे थे
distracts him,
अपना
yeah.
distracts him.
Yeah.
That was such a smart move. I was like I've seen people do that.
Yeah.
And I've also done that on some level.
The only conflict was that because the shot of where Farhan Akhtar is talking to Joe is from Joe's POV, it's from inside the studio.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
Farhan Akhtar acted that scene damn well because he looks dismissive towards Joe.
Yeah.
But once he says it to that Sukhani guy, you're like, okay, there was a point to what he said, but like Joe has not got that and all of that. He's
Yeah.
already emotionally charged by being told only how to play.
Exactly. And also Joe is not understanding the gravity of the situation that you have gotten like an album now. You're getting an opportunity. You're getting paid to like put
I
your...
get that, but that's my major grouse with Rock On is that it positions itself as this selling out versus being genuine conflict.
Okay.
Indie versus mainstream, whatever, how you want to frame it. And despite that, by itself, it's such a mainstream film.
Yeah.
You know, it's like
No,
it's like
he's-
a capitalist saying you should work for your business, but then it's a capitalistic venture.
Yeah, yeah.
Like it's like that.
But it is a good conflict of ideas to have in a movie,
Yeah.
regardless of if the movie is capitalistic or not. That like, because all of us have faced this at some point in our career, to be like, oh, is this selling out or is this just how things should be? Should I
I
just
mean,
do
we
my
can talk
best?
about the scene where they're playing a garba.
Like
Saas
honestly,
ki
that
zarurat
Garba, I feel as a
Which-
comedian,
which-
that was
which I
the
feel-
most relatable thing you could
Most
see.
relatable and
Yeah.
also the best singing he has done in the movie. Actually, the best singing he has done in the movie. I don't know if you disagree with me.
सांसों की जरूरत है जैसे too convincing.
Yeah.
So my point is that see अगर if the way you're saying कि it was indie versus I don't think it was indie versus commercial.
No, staying
that
true
was
to
not
your
the
art
com-
versus making compromises on the way to larger things.
Slight compromises are fine.
But
Like
I'm saying Rock On by itself is a very cliche movie.
Yeah.
It tick marks all your like cliche things. Whereas you're
okay.
saying you have to be original, you have to stick by your vision, but we're gonna package it in the most palatable way possible. The film doesn't take enough chances. Apart from it's a rock band and it's rock.
It doesn't
music.
take
That's
take many chances. No,
Ah.
the chance I think began and ended at it's a rock movie.
rock band.
Yeah.
Yeah. You have any opinions on Joe's current status in 2008? Like he's portrayed as his uncle. Who's
Very
living in
accurate. This is
Bandra.
exactly how it goes when you want to stick to your ideas in show
Yeah.
business. And you're like, I have a vision. I want to execute that vision.
So
This
do you
is
know
exactly
the,
how it ends.
Do you know the
Yeah.
plot of the second movie, Rock On 2? This movie had a sequel.
No,
for
I
the
had a
middle.
sequel. I don't know the plot.
Joe becomes a judge on a reality show, a music reality show.
Oh.
Yeah. So I haven't seen the movie,
But that is also exact same career progression where you're like, oh, I realized my mistake. Now I'm going to do everything I did not want to do
Yeah, yeah.
earlier. I'm going to
Vishal
do all.
Dadlani,
Yeah,
basically,
Vishal
yeah,
Dadlani.
yeah.
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 So yeah.
So that's actually Vishal Dadlani's arc.
I mean, you can make that argument. I don't
Okay,
know if
but
Vishal
like, I don't know
Dadlani
at
would
what
agree
age he
with it.
started Vishal Shekhar, but I don't know.
Early 2000s.
No,
So,
what
yeah.
age was he?
30s, I want to say.
Okay, then he must have gone through this.
Yeah.
Because I don't think Pentagram outside of VH1 did very well.
So yeah, let's do the categories. Anything else you guys want to add before we go to the categories?
Wait.
We already talked about Arjun.
Did you all notice there's an error in the movie?
What's the
What?
error?
When is Farhan Akhtar's birthday?
22nd
22nd
July.
July. And?
It's not
It's 22nd
raining.
July at the start. When she goes to the
Yeah.
store, and she's like, engrave this at the back, it's 22nd July.
Uh.
And later at some point in the movie, it becomes 22nd May.
Really?
Yeah. And I'm just like,
What?
yeah.
Are you serious?
Yeah. She
Really?
says engraved 22nd July. And then
They
at some point, it's May.
No, this side. I don't
It
think that is
becomes 22nd
anniversary.
May.
That is anniversary, not birthday.
When was the
second
anniversary
I
celebration?
don't know.
नहीं कुछ तो
A
mention
month,
है.
a month before his birthday.
Yeah.
I don't
Because the
know.
22nd July thing is supposed to be a reference because it's the birthday of Don Henley, the lead singer of the Eagles, who
Was that actually a
who
reference?
Farhan Akhtar is a big fan of.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And even the Eagles
Because
have this.
I could see that they're trying to pay homage to every rock artist they like.
Yeah,
So
so
there's in some scene someone is dressed like Axl Rose. In some
Axl
scene
Rose, the
someone
Yowza thing is
Yeah.
Axl Rose.
like they're trying to be every band, and I was like, okay, you're actually making a mess of the band you're trying to portray by being not one person.
But this story is essentially also the Eagles. The Eagles reunited after 25 or 28 years.
Oh.
And they had this thing where one of the members said that if we ever reunite, hell will freeze over. So when they reunited, they named the album Hell Freezes Over.
Oh,
because
okay.
it was like this whole thing. So, yeah.
Okay.
So that's essentially this thing. Cool, let's do the categories. So, Mikhail, Rock On from 2008, what according to you has aged the best and what has aged the worst in Rock On?
Wait, what has aged the best?
Hmm.
Anu Malik's appearance has aged the best.
Okay.
Because that's exactly how you remember Anu Malik. That's exactly how Anu Malik used to be in the
Yeah.
2000s.
So I thought the darling guy is supposed to be a spin on Anu Malik, but I'm like, no, but they actually got him to play himself.
No,
in the
even
beginning.
there's such irony in Anu Malik's appearance.
Yeah.
I love what he did with the flute, Joe. Very original. the weight of the irony in that one dialogue. He was so cool to do it, and I was just
That's
like,
true, yeah.
I was
Yeah.
like, what a small, great punch.
Yeah.
So original. I loved it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what is the worst?
What has aged the worst?
Yeah.
That kid was damn annoying.
Which kid?
Andrew,
Debbie का बच्चा.
Debbie ka bacha.
Debbie Arjun
And Joe ka bacha. It's
Debbie
not just
and-
Debbie's
Yeah.
Debbie
bacha.
and Joe.
But I don't know
No,
whether
dude,
he's...
he's like such a big fan of magic. He wants to see
Yeah,
his band
he was just
back
an
together.
annoying kid. He's not that he's not aged well. Okay, it's a different category. He was just an annoying kid. What has not aged well?
Yeah.
Can I go last on this?
Sure. I'll come back to
Okay,
you.
come back to me.
For me, what's aged the best, I think, is the music. I think it still
Agree.
rocks as hard as it did in 2008, including Zehreelay. What's not aged the best, or what's aged the worst, is in the end, Debbie becoming a stylist. I'm like, how did that flip?
It was damn
happen?
convenient,
It was
right?
very
Yeah.
convenient. And I think there are a lot of places where the film coincidences and conveniences happen very easily.
Yeah.
I would
Yeah.
have liked it if they would have delved a little more into the decisions the character took, and
Whose character? All characters.
most characters. Like things happen very easily. People get
Yeah.
convinced very easily in the film. So that, from a writing point of view, I think has not aged very well. It's
Yeah.
not aged. So it's the worst for you.
What has aged the best? Music.
Okay.
Same thing, music. But what has aged the worst? I feel that whole argument about कि Arjun Rampal को बोल रहा था कि you need to chill out a little bit. That I didn't like at all. I'm like, fuck off, man. This whole conversation
to chill
about
out?
So
Luke Kenny.
Luke
Kenny's
saying
character saying you need to chill out a little. I feel like that
okay.
because वो time पे privilege वगैरह का conversation नहीं
was
चल
not
रहा था.
happening.
So I
Yeah.
feel like that conversation has not aged at all.
Another thing I think they should have addressed a little more, that these three come from relatively privileged places.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
the guy can see NCPA from his office.
Yeah.
So he's in his
Yeah.
swanky.
And
Joe is not.
Ben ही था ना नाम उसका.
Rob.
किसका?
Rob था, sorry, I don't know why I keep calling him Ben. But
Some white guy name.
Rob, so Rob also tells him कि तू भी यार तू हमेशा सक्सेस के पीछे पड़ा है. अबे सक्सेस नहीं, वो लाइवलीहुड के पीछे पड़ा है. So that has
yeah,
not aged. That
yeah.
conversation has not aged.
True.
And yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I feel what
Have
has
you
not
got-
aged well, what has aged the worst by far is Farhan Akhtar the musician. Because anything that you drag on for too long is not going to age well. And he dragged that on for way too long. I think You can still buy concert tickets to Farhan Akhtar.
Yeah,
I
we
love how you
recently,
waited. You waited your turn to say
Phoenix
that.
mein he had performed recently.
Yeah.
like a
Kala,
year
he
ago.
he was a closer at the Kala Ghoda festival at one of the
See,
years.
this makes no sense.
He was on stage with Parikrama at the last year's Independence Rock.
That should be rioted.
He sang Usha Uthup's parts. They did a collaboration with Usha Uthup's.
First of all, I don't know how Usha Uthup's voice can be substituted by Farhan Akhtar's voice. They're not even similar
It's
voices.
exactly the opposite.
Yeah. But Farhan Akhtar, the musician,
Being
that
able to
phase
sing.
of like, oh, the songs did well. I sang the songs. I want to sing forever.
Yeah.
Sure, yeah.
It would have been great if it was a novelty act, like if 15 years later at Film Fair he came back and he just did one rock on.
Yeah.
It would have been great. But that became his thing for a long time, dude.
Yeah.
So, Mikhail, on a Hazard Age Well rating scale, how well do you think Rock On has aged from 1 to 10?
7.5.
It's not bad.
It's aged well, but there are parts that have not. But for the most part, it's good. It's fine.
Okay.
Bring back that Zehreelay band. I want that spin-off movie. What happened to their band is more interesting.
Chakravyuh from Bangalore.
Chakravyuh.
Yeah.
Chakravyuh is actually a bad name for a band because Chakravyuh in Bollywood is most with that Iqbal. Where this was called Chakravyuh, in Iqbal.
Yes. But that was a good trick, not a bad trick.
In Iqbal.
Yeah.
It was a great trick.
Yeah.
I'm just saying that name is not
True.
going to stick with the side band from Rock On.
Okay.
It would have been a different name.
For me, it is an 8, but for the music, I would add one more. So 9 out of 10.
Okay.
I think the music is what elevates the like not just the songs, but even the background score and everything is really cool by Shankar-Ehsaan-Loy.
For me also it is a 9 on 10 because I feel I also tried to find like problematic aspects in the film. There were none.
Nope.
And I feel so the movie, it stands the test of time, and again, like you said, the movie also is a representative of the time it's coming from. So I feel like in that sense it has aged very well.
Yeah, I think it's ahead of its time. I don't think you would have Hindi rock bands today as prominent as they are if it wasn't for Rock On.
No, but that's just a function of where you are as a country, where you are in time. No, because
Sure.
like for example, pre-98, Bollywood was doing what it was for the last 10 years, which is like big, massy, commercial, masculine energy. It was doing just that. And then in the middle, you calmed down and you made like a different kind of thing. And you'll return to that at some point.
Yeah, of course.
You'll return to that once you feel a little more secure as maybe a country, a society, a film industry. You will return to that. And you'll make another rock band movie, you'll make another hip hop group movie, you'll make something.
I mean, Gully Boy Gully Boy did for hip hop what Rock On did for rock.
No, Gully Boy did much more for hip hop than Rock On did for rock. There was like no rock band came out of Rock On, the phenomenon like Divine did.
And also Gully Boy, it was again the time that it is set against. The backdrop of Gully Boy is much stronger, I feel, because
Yeah.
Gully Boy is not
Yeah,
just
yeah.
about rap. It
That's
is
an
about
underdog story
poverty.
also,
It is
yeah.
underdog
Yeah.
story. It is a poverty
Yeah.
against like capitalism, not even
Privilege.
And like
privilege
in
and
Rock On, there is no actual villain to latch on to. No, there's no
Yeah.
actual person to hate. Whereas in Gully Boy, you have that. You have the system to hate. You have
Exactly.
The
like
father
society's
also.
ills to hate. The father
Yeah,
to
like
hate.
I'm not into hip hop, but I still enjoyed Gully Boy.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. I feel like a person who enjoys rock would enjoy Rock On much more than I did.
I enjoyed both films. I think they're good. They're both great in their own way.
Yeah.
But we've plugged Excel enough. So I think we
Yeah.
should do our alternate ending segment right now. It's a pretty high scoring rating scale. 7.5,
10.5.
9 and 9.
9.
Yeah. So that's pretty high. Let's do the alternate ending segment right now. So this is our alternate ending segment where we give an alternate ending to the movie than it originally ended, or we can pitch a sequel. But this film already had a sequel. Let's ignore the sequel. Let's pretend it never happened. Urjita, do you have an alternate ending, or should I
I
go
don't have
first?
an alternate ending,
Okay.
but I have a alternate, like what could have happened? What
Okay.
if? So like how Purab Kohli in the beginning he says that मैं भी इसको जानता हूँ, okay, it's the same guy only, and how Farhan Akhtar is like, what, I don't know him. So what if Prachi Desai is being too over smart? I feel she was being too overconfident. उसके पति ने बोला he doesn't know him, फिर भी वो photos देखती है and she's like, oh no, of course he knows him because he clicked pictures with them. But what if they all went down a very dark path and he didn't want to be associated with them anymore? So maybe like वो drugs करने
Wow.
What if they are murderers,
Okay.
serial killers, and now Purab he has been hiding from them all his life. And Prachi Desai, she's so over smart. She thinks that, oh fuck, they were friends, so let me reunite them with Purab. Let me reunite my husband with his old friends. So she meets Purab Kohli, and Purab Kohli starts meeting her, and he starts finding out details about his life. And then like he finally like nabs him.
He makes him a criminal.
Yeah.
Ooh, dark alternate ending.
Yeah.
This movie should be called Game On rather than.
Yeah.
My alternate ending was so Rob doesn't die. Okay, his chemo after the concert. Surprisingly, his chemo starts working, and he's like, "You can actually survive now." And Anu Malik hires him back. He's like,
Him or the band?
Rob
Huh.
gets Rob back, and Rob is like, I've got this second lease of life. I'm not gonna let this go. So he sells all the magic songs to Anu Malik.
Wow.
Anu Malik Bollywoodizes them and uses
Rob,
it.
the guy who wanted the band to come back together.
Yeah. Rob staying true to his name.
Yeah.
Okay, but you
Nice
know
one.
what? I have
Yeah.
another alternate ending over
Okay.
here now. So, because these guys, they decide to come together because of the emotion, right? So,
Right.
Rob is going to die, so they come together and Rob doesn't die. So, now they're like, okay, then there's no need, baby. So, they go, so the man doesn't get formed. They go to their OG ways.
Start end where we started with the movie.
Yeah,
that way.
yeah.
Okay. After these amazing alternate endings that
My-
we've given Mikhail, do you
My
have
alternate
one?
ending would be if Rob somehow his cancer is taken care of story-wise.
Yes.
Like he survives his cancer,
Okay.
everything, and they actually come together as a band. And then the journey of that band that's come together, they'll have to sign with some
Record label.
with some record label, some manager. They'll have to get a
Right,
manager.
right.
And then like just everyday struggles of an artist. Like, why are you giving that artist more screen time, man? Come on, like I'm a better thing.
Yeah.
And then that squabble, that would be like in a sequel, that would make for a great sequel, I feel. Because
Right.
like in this movie and in most movies, because the movie is a short 3-hour thing, you get to only explore the struggle and then the success.
Correct.
But between the struggle and the success, there's a lot of like just boredom and just
But why
muck
would
you have
that
to
be
crawl
entertaining?
through. No, that can be entertaining. If you make the two bands who are the central characters competing with each
Yeah.
other, that it can then become like any sports movie where like you have two teams
that way.
competing.
And
all
also,
that.
like, if you think about it, उनकी core personalities तो वैसे के वैसे ही है ना. In fact, if at all anything, फरहान का और खराब हो गया है. Because Farhan now, of course, Farhan won't take shit from Joe at all. And Joe will
Right.
keep giving him shit because Joe is still the cynical guy. He's still very insecure. At his core, Joe is the most insecure amongst the three.
Yeah,
And
they're less tightly bound now.
exactly. And also, like, again, Farhan will not stop being rich just because he's a part of this band.
Yeah, no.
So I feel like that would be very interesting to see. I think the band would fall apart very easily now.
Like
After
it's
growing
only
up.
in the lens and world of this movie that coming together for one concert once is a success.
Yeah.
In any artistic
That
circle,
depends on where you decide to end the movie.
yeah,
right?
but in the
Yeah.
context of this movie, that's a success. But like
Right.
that's not success in actual show business.
Correct.
Yeah.
Like you came back, that's great. You'll get some buzz, you'll get some
Yeah.
reel out of it that does well for some time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then after that, again, you have to go through the same grind, go to the music
Yeah.
label, hawk your music, do a live gig.
Yeah.
Someone will not pay you. Some
Because-
drunk guy will be at your audience. He will
Yeah.
throw a thing at Joe, and then Joe will whack, and then you have to again.
Yeah.
That's also a
because-
Vishal Dadlani story, but let's not. do
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
This he had mentioned. Yeah.
This I don't know what is the story.
that. Someone at a show he knocked someone out with a mic.
Oh,
So yeah,
it's a very
became a
Vishal
thing.
Dadlani
I
thing.
know, yeah.
Yeah.
But thanks, Mikhail, for taking time out and being on this episode.
I'm so glad to
and
be here, bro.
Enlightening us on the questions of science and how it answers all the questions
And
in the song.
the denial of legacy to Zehreelay.
Yes.
It is a legit great song. I don't understand what the problem with that song is whatsoever.
We agree. Anything you want to plug? Where can people see you? Your social media handles, if you want.
You can follow me at Mikhail Almeida, which is my name, on all platforms. I have the same handle. No
That's
different
great.
shit on different platforms. I'm like a conglomerate.
Any
Nice.
shows you got coming up that you want to talk about?
No, I'm traveling in December on a holiday, so
Okay, cool.
nothing for
Nice. Urjita, where can people find you?
You guys can follow me on Instagram and YouTube at @Urjitavani. Again, same username on all platforms. Yeah.
What is his universality? I'm different, guys. You can follow me on Instagram at AbbasMomin88 and you can follow me on Twitter at @AbbasMomin. And
That's
On
what you get for
YouTube-
having a common name.
YouTube, my URL is Abbas, youtube.com/AbbasComic. So
dude, no one's keeping track of this and following you ever again.
But yeah, that brings us to the end of this episode. That was Rock On from 2008. We'll be back next week with a new movie and a new guest. So we'll see you next time. One last time, if you're watching us on YouTube, like the video, subscribe to the channel, share this video with anyone who you think will enjoy it. Share it with Farhan Akhtar so that we can get him to answer things we questioned in this episode. And if you're listening to us on an audio platform, please rate and review us. Please remember you get early access to episodes of Has It Aged Well on Amazon Music 2 weeks prior to when it comes out on YouTube, so you can check us out there. And thank you so much. This was Has It Aged Well, presented by our friends at Wildstone Perfumes. The badass range of fragrances is out right now. Check it out. We'll see you next week.
IVM.